Hello, welcome to the Nintendo Bros podcast. I'm Pete,
And I'm Derek.
and we are real brothers who talk about Nintendo and video games. And today we're talking about E3 2021, Nintendo's digital press conference.
Oh, it's not a direct. They didn't call it a direct.
Sorry, it was a direct, E3 direct.
Okay.
Okay, we also have our prediction prediction podcast talk. I think I was way closer to landing on the mark, wouldn't you say, Derek?
Yeah, I think there's some things that I think overall, yes.
I feel like I was more close than I've ever been, as far as naming off Mario Party, naming off Metroid, and also mentioning Wario Ware.
Okay, I got Mario and Rabbids too.
Yeah, I had that on my list though before we talked, and also
Okay. I said no. I said no. You named a lot more too, though. I said no Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised about that. I thought that was going to be one of those one more things. Okay, do we want to go through kind of announcement by announcement here?
Yeah, that's what I think we should do too. Yeah.
Okay, so the very first thing was when I first saw Koizumi and I can't remember the other guy's name right now offhand. I was really excited. Like when they show up, it's a good sign. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because they don't often show up in directs. It's not one of those directs where they just pump out 20 videos. So it's nice to see them. It's like, okay, there's some big. You're gonna introduce some big games. And when they first, the first opening was the Smash character with Kazuya. Do you know how to say it? Kazuya.
I think it's Kazuya.
Kazuya. I mean, I was overwhelmed with disappointment. How did you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a hero for me, but I think it's cool. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that love fighting games and that I think it's awesome that you can have, SNK and Tekken together, with a bunch of other characters from Nintendo and other franchises.
Yeah, but, I mean, Tekken being represented ultimately makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, Tekken's cool to be there. I'm not... I played like maybe one Tekken game in my life, so it doesn't do much for me. But yeah, it's cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think they must have known that wasn't going to be that exciting for people, unless Nintendo just thinks Tekken is huge in North America. I don't know.
Well, I don't think it's. I mean, I guess this is an American conference. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's the last character they had before the big one that's coming after.
When I first saw this at the beginning, I for sure thought that they were going to announce another Smash fighter during the direct.
Yeah, I did too. I thought it was going to be at the very end or something.
I thought the trailer was hilarious. How he threw Ganondorf over the edge. When they first showed that, I thought it was going to be Doomslayer. By the way.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Breath of the Wild heroes.
Really? Oh, when they first showed that, I was like, oh, this is for sure Doomslayer. And I'm like, Derek's going to be right, and they're going to show them throwing Ganondorf into hell, and that whole thing. And then it was some other random guy. I'm like, okay, who is this? I was like, is that Doomslayer? Without his clothes?
I think it's a safe pick, I don't think it's going to be very... I mean, I don't know. I don't think it'll be polarizing. I don't think anyone will hate this character's inclusion. I think people will understand why the character is in the game.
I mean, but it's just like at the sacrifice of so many other series. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the painful thing. I don't know. I mean, I guess in certain circles, this is probably a huge decision, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when Sakurai sat there with the controllers for a moment there, I honestly felt like, oh no, this is gonna be a bad E3. He's gonna get way into the character here. I'm like, it's like they're not reading the audience, and like, I don't know about you.
I was watching the clock and I was like, oh my god, it's 6 minutes in. Like we're like sitting down with Sakurai. I'm like, this is gonna be all Smash.
I know it's gonna be like, oh my god, like a whole E3 focused on Kazuya.
It's like 22 minutes of gameplay, and then yeah.
Oh man, but no, it was quick and it was almost comical because he was like, look at all the moves he can do, and there's just so many. So it almost looks like he plays exactly like he might in Tekken, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, I think that's again kind of the same as Terry. Like I think Terry brought a kind of a cool moveset idea, and I know Ryu and Ken did it as well. But yeah, I'm excited to see how this guy plays and how he feels different than the other kind of fighting game characters. Do
like Ken and Ryu.
Yeah,
and Terry.
Yeah, the ones I just named.
I'm just trying to think. I was just trying to think if there's any more characters like that. I mean, even Little Mac is kind of like that, right?
No, yeah, it's just those three.
Okay, okay. So yeah, it is what it is. Next thing opened up. It was like this video of we found out the Life is Strange and Life is Strange 2 Colors is coming to Switch, which has been rumored and hinted at for a while. We've talked about this on other episodes. I guess that's good. Do you think these are going to run on Switch okay?
Yeah, I think. I mean, again, who knows with the Switch Pro or whatever. I think the first game will run fine. I think, like the prequel. I think is part of that. I don't know how the newest game will run and what kind of sacrifices they're going to make. To be honest, like the definitive way to play this is not going to be on the Switch, just because these games are basically visual novels. So you want to enjoy actually what you're looking at. So yeah, I think the best way to play it is not going to be the Switch, but I think they'll be playable. The True Colors one will probably be more rough.
That's the one that's not out yet, right? That's not.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. So but I think the older ones will be fine.
When does does True Colors now come out the same day on Switch that it does on the other consoles?
I'd have to check the release dates.
Okay,
but I can do that if you want. But
anyways, okay. Well, after that, they showed something. So this is kind of funny. They showed something, and then I saw on the screen. I can't remember what it was. I think it was bananas. And I was honestly like, "This is DK coming back." And they said, "This is a what did they say? This is a 20th year anniversary because of the GameCube in 2001." Okay. And I'm like, "Oh my god, isn't DK have some sort of anniversary?" Like I was kind of like, "This is for Donkey Kong. They're gonna show it. Oh my gosh!" And then like they showed it, and like it was like DK in space with that music, and it was the 2001 Space Odyssey moment. Have you ever seen that movie, by the way?
I think I've seen most of it. I don't know if I've seen it once all the way through.
Okay, well, anyways, and then it turned out to be Monkey Ball, and I was like, oh, dang. But I'm going to buy this for sure, by the way. This looks awesome. It's Monkey Ball 1, 2, and Deluxe, all made in HD, all put in one package. It's a cheaper price. It's not a full-price game. Has all the all the different modes. I mean, I'm going to get this.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get it, too. It actually, like, I haven't played Monkey Ball since the GameCube with my friend. So yeah, I'm excited to play through all the levels, and I was not surprised because I think this was
this is rumored or leaked already.
Yeah, there's already pictures that were floating around, so I didn't. As the moment I saw the bananas, I actually knew it was going to be Monkey Ball.
But did people know that it was going to be 1, 2, and Deluxe? I didn't know if we had those details
they
yet.
Didn't. I don't think they knew if it was going to be a remake or a new game.
Okay.
Not a remake, but yeah, like a. You know what I mean? Like
remaster.
Yeah, whatever it is. But yeah, it looks super fun. I mean, especially if it's a lower price, like why not just grab it and play through it? And I think it's one of those games that I feel like
you don't play through it. It's like huge. Like even Monkey Ball 1 will take you a while to get through. It's hard. It'll be.
I know. Well, I don't. Well, I'm still playing through it. What do you? I know it's not a one sit playthrough. There's like 160 levels per game or something.
I know. I just mean you just say so casually, like, yeah, play through it. Like I think you'll have.
No, I just mean
some challenge here.
No, I'm just saying like I don't expect it to be Zelda amazing, but it looks like one of those games where I'm hanging out on a Saturday with my my girlfriend. She's doing something else. I can play a couple levels of that kind of thing.
Yep. Especially a good handheld game. I think. Are you going to get it on Switch?
I didn't know it was coming to other systems. Yeah, I think I'll get it on Switch probably. Just because of where my Switch is in the house, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because it's more like you use your Switch more for multiplayer, and
I use Switch for multiplayer, and also when often my girlfriend and I, like when we are together on the weekend, she's working, like she has to do work on the weekends. So I have my Switch at her place, so I'm kind of playing games while there.
And your dock is at her place?
Yeah.
Do you ever play on the CX?
No, I don't ever.
Wow. I gotta say, some games look beautiful on it. I gotta say.
Well, that's why I'm hoping for the Switch Pro, and that's one of the main reasons I actually want to get the Switch Pro early is then I'll have the Switch Pro at my house.
But even playing, honestly, even playing something like Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart, are upsampled, like just through the like in the TV upsampling, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, but I don't have time to play those games again right now. Like I have a PS5 that makes it look way better, and I have other games I'm still playing through.
Well, anyways, we're getting way off topic. Sorry, it's always my fault. Okay, the next huge announcement was Super Mario Party All Superstars, or just Mario Party Superstars. It's 5 N64 maps with 100 older minigames. They emphasized button controls. They emphasized that.
Is it just N64 maps? I thought it was 5 just old maps.
I believe it's 5 maps from the N64 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
But like redone graphics. Like you didn't. I watched it during the Treehouse, but
I heard they actually changed the maps too. They nerfed them a bit.
Yeah, they upgraded them and stuff.
No, they nerfed them. I said.
Oh, is that what people are saying?
Yeah, they changed some of the spaces to make it easier, so people are actually upset by it because like some of the zaniness has been removed.
Well, I'll take that over what
Super Mario Party
to
gave
me,
us.
It was kind of like as soon as they said every mode was online and showed that part, and you could pause a game online. Like I was like, oh my god! Like finally put my hands in the air. It feels like that this has been something that people have asked for literally over 10 years. Over 10 years. Like I can't. Probably longer. No, much longer because even on the Wii, Mario Kart, and that was 2008. Mario Party 8 on the Wii was, I believe, 2008, and that was what, 13 years ago now. It's insane to think how long it's been since.
I don't know when Mario Party 8 came out at the top of my head.
Well, just like it's just crazy to think that. Yeah. Anyways, it's finally. I just was like, finally, you know.
I think it looks good. I probably will get this, just mainly because of the online. There are some things that I don't love about what they showed.
What don't you love about what they showed?
Honestly, you know what? I think this is probably one of the best things they showed. So I'm not going to say I don't love it. The only thing I really had a criticism with is only 5 old maps.
That's the thing. I was like, okay, 5 old maps, also included with the new maps, right? That's what I was kind of, and then I'm like, now it really seems like no, it's only those 5 maps. So I'm kind of like, why are you emphasizing...
And no new mini games either. It's like, I know they're the 100 of the best ones.
I'll take the old ones. Me
too, but it's like, I don't know. Like, I think, again, I think it's one of the best things they showed at the Direct today. But I think there's room for improvement, and but I think this is a huge leap forward from Super Mario Party.
Yeah, and I watched the Treehouse, and just the gameplay in it seems really well made for once. Seems straightforward. It paces through the game quickly. There's not a lot of jargon with I think it'll be the boxes, and even like when you go into a mini game and there's like that pre-screen to learn how, and then it's like quick, fast load times. Like I was really impressed by how well the game just kind of streamed together.
Yeah, it's snappy. Yeah. I think it'll be the best Mario Party game since a long time.
Yeah, and the 5 N64, and like I want to play those N64 ones remade in HD graphics. Like
me too.
I saw some before and afters, and they really went through and polished the graphics. And watching the stream, it's really well made. Like it's the best graphics I've seen in a Mario Party game. Like they really polished the textures and everything.
And who knows? I bet you this is going to probably be one of the best selling Mario Parties, if not the best. And I wouldn't be surprised if they added DLC. Here's another 5 map pack. Here's another 5 characters. Here's another 25 mini games, all in kind of a bundle. I just can't imagine them not doing that. Like I just can't believe they wouldn't put more maps in it. Honestly, I know I'm back to that point, but how can you put only 5 maps in a game? Like it's like only 5.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm bewildered by that.
Yeah, I mean it can't be that hard to put a map in. Like it's but I mean they only had 4 in Super Mario Party.
Yeah, and that was the biggest issue in that game.
I know, so they added one more. Like, hey, this time you get one more. Hey, like you have a problem with the number of tracks. I'm just
saying, if they're remaking old maps, you have like 40 that are easy to think of that people liked, and you can't make any of your own maps good again. Like, how can they not make 2 of their own maps like originals that are good.
Well, maybe they will. Hopefully, they will do like a 5 map pack addition to this, because I mean, if they set it up for online,
Yeah,
it
I
looks
hope so.
way higher quality. Like they have a new. It's like
I
looks like
agree.
they finally put work in. I don't know. I'm buying this.
Me too. Again, I'm not no criticism. I think it was one of the best things they showed. There's still room for improvement to say this is like the I forget the word, like the epitome of Super Mario parties. We're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
But I think this is in the right direction.
Yeah, same here. But I also feel like depending on how it all lines up with that DLC, could be the epitome.
I agree.
It could be.
I'm waiting for the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe of Mario parties, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I think we're so close. They're just missing that mark a bit.
Well, it's also a different developer. So I don't know if they have the. It's what is it? ND Cube makes them, or
Well, I know it's not the same as Mario Kart.
yeah.
I'm just saying. I want that. I know it's not made by the same company. I'm just saying I want it to be that kind of, the best of the best.
Oh yeah, same.
Anyways, let's move on to the next.
Okay. Still, I think that's a good. We both basically predicted it. It happened, and it looks great. So like that's a win in all fronts. It's like a best Mario Kart in decades.
Mario Party.
Mario Party. I don't know why I keep saying kart. Okay, so after that, they showed another exciting one, Cruisin' Blast.
Okay.
It's exclusive.
Okay.
And interestingly, Nintendo owns this franchise. Like Cruisin' USA and like all those ones that are in the arcades?
Yeah.
That's Nintendo's franchise.
This is called Cruising Blast.
This is called Cruisin' Blast.
I feel like I overlooked this game. Okay, keep talking about it now.
So, I don't know if you remember on N64 Cruisin' USA.
I do remember that game.
Okay, because it was one of the 6 launch games, and it was pretty badass back then, because it was a game that would be in the arcade with a wheel. Like, it'd be in, Laser Quest and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they kept kind of making... Arcades aren't that popular, but they still keep up... I don't know if you ever go to, Dave & Buster's or places like that have, kind of arcades for adults. But they still have games like this and racers like this. And Nintendo still makes, there's, Luigi's Mansion one, Mario Kart, and they have this Cruisin' Blast. And so Nintendo owns it, and now I think they're just taking the arcade version, or a multiple amplitude of the arcade versions, and, morphing them into a Switch release.
Okay, yeah, I look at the video. I mean, it looks cool. Not something I'm going to buy, but
I just wonder. I just don't think this is going to be a full price. That's why I'm looking.
Yeah,
at
I could see it being a $20 to $30 eShop game.
Yeah, exactly. So if this is even $29.99 and it has 4-player or 2-player split screen through the whole game, I might just kind of say okay. Mm-hmm. Or you never know, down the line the price drop.
To me, it's too similar to Mario Kart, and Mario Kart just trounces it in every way. So I wouldn't.
There's no weapons or anything.
I know, but when I think, yeah, for sure, I know it's different. But I just think about my time spent gaming. If I'm gonna play a racing kart kind of game like this, I know it's not kart racing, but a racing game like this, I wouldn't pick this game. I'd pick Mario Kart.
I mean, I'll be playing Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly a different genre of racing, but
and it's going back to Monkey Ball. One of the notes I had here that I forgot to mention was there's a few of these games that I'm excited about getting, but also when it comes to them actually being released, I might just wait until they're on sale, because something like Super Monkey Ball is definitely going to go on sale a month or two after. It's a prime game for PSN or Xbox Game Pass.
yeah,
I don't know. Anyways, the next announcement I was pretty excited about. They introduced it by basically telling us Metroid Prime 4 was still being worked on, which is good. But at this point, I was really excited because I'm like, oh man, I kind of mixed up my ideas of my guesses with what was rumored, and I'm like, oh my god, all of it's true. The leak was true, and I imagined that my entire predictions was a leak. And I'm like, Donkey Kong's gonna happen. This is gonna happen. I'm like, it's all lined up: Mario Party and Metroid. And I was so hyped. But it's exactly what I predicted. Mercury Steam working on a 2D Metroid. I thought this game looks freaking awesome. I can't wait for it. I've actually already pre-ordered it on my Switch.
You're joking.
No, I'm not. Because they put it live right away. I right away downloaded it. And then this.
Oh my god.
It looks awesome. Looks like everything I wanted in a Metroid game, and there is that moment they showed a lot more during the treehouse, but yeah, just like it's an improvement on the movement, and the movement and animation look really good. Like her hand movement on walls, Samus's, and I like how the whole game is based on like a lot of your upgrades are based on like defense against these kind of robots that are hunting you down. It's like a very interesting take on the upgrade path of a Metroidvania. And just like the gameplay and the animation and the environments and the music, it just looked like a great Metroid game, and I don't know, I'm really excited about this one. Looks like a huge improvement to Samus Returns. The only, I know you're gonna come down on it because I already sensed that in your silence, but I also think it does have the feeling of a handheld game. Like it doesn't feel like necessarily like an epic sit at home with your controller game. But it still looks really, really good. So I watched it on my OLED, even though it was streamed. I watched the release of the trailer. I think it looks great. Anyways, what do you think, Derek?
Well, I definitely think it's a big improvement over Mercury Steam's Samus Returns. But I still think it's nowhere. I think it'll be the second worst 2D Metroid, only above Samus Returns.
And are you including the Game Boy release of Metroid 2 in that?
No, I'm only including the remakes. I'm including the 2 Game Boy Advance games and Super Metroid.
Oh, you're not counting the originals.
No, I'm not counting. Sorry, I'm not counting the originals because they're. Yeah, you're right.
Because they've been remade. Okay, I
yes,
understand.
they've been exactly.
I think you're selling it short. Like I don't see why. I don't see.
Well, let me just.
And I'll listen. Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, so. First off, I don't think it looks that good. I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It kind of looks like a handheld game, but to be honest, when we live in a world where we have Doom Eternal on the Switch, we have Ori, Will of the Wisps on the Switch, we have Hollow Knight on the Switch, I just can't fathom how this game does not look way more crisp, way more detailed. There should be way more eye candy for a 2D Metroid game. I just can't. It does not look as detailed or as clean as it should, in my mind. That's my first criticism with it. The second thing is I don't like the way they designed the game around these robots hunting you down.
Oh.
I think it's actually the worst way to ever do a Metroid game. It's kind of like the Nemesis or Mr. X in the Resident Evil games, where it's always chasing you, and you have that kind of feeling of being hunted down. And that feeling is fun. It can be okay, but I think about Metroid Fusion, and they had that too with the SAX, like the Metroid.
It was more
clone,
done in like cutscenes and stuff in on game. In Metroid Fusion, they didn't really have it hunting you the whole time.
Exactly. So like it would hunt you for like a short segment of a minute or two, and then it would be gone. You have this whole area to explore. This game, at least from what I've seen, and the treehouse for the 40 minutes of gameplay that I've seen, these robots are everywhere, and they one-hit kill you, and it just does not look like a fun mechanic. Because when I want to play Metroid, I want to explore nooks and crannies. I want to go around and kind of see things, and I want to kind of test things out and see if I can. One of the things that I love about Metroid games is trying to sequence break, which means trying to get to an area you're not supposed to by using the abilities you have and like change the order of the level. But I can just tell all these things are not going to happen.
You don't think that you're going to be able to get power-ups and go back to older areas and just kill the robots? I do.
Oh, you can. They've already shown in the gameplay.
Yeah, exactly. So
robots.
I don't know. I think you're going to get
what
where
That's not what I said. But that's not what I said by sequence break.
No, but I just mean I know. Okay, I wasn't talking about sequence break. I meant your previous point as far as exploring. Like I think you're going to get those moments. You just need to. It's like exploring the new areas is where you'll be dealing with the stress, and you can always go back and explore.
I just think it's going to make for a very non-exploratory experience the first time you enter somewhere, which it's like, okay, so I'm going to be on a straight path until I can destroy the robot and then I can explore. I don't like that idea, and I just think I think it's going to make the game way more linear. I think just the way they're probably figuring out how to make this robot appear from a spot and you have to run from it and you have a certain spot to hide that will work really well. It's going to make the game feel really linear.
Well,
So
yeah, I mean,
hold on, my criticisms have not even started yet.
okay. Started. Wow.
And then no, I'm kidding, almost done. But and the other thing I notice is I find that the enemies don't look great either, but they're very scarce. There doesn't seem like there's a lot of enemies. It seems like the main focus is these robots, which are one-hit kills. And if anyone else is listening, I'm sure some people are listening and thinking, one-hit kill mechanics are not fun in games. They just don't make it's not enjoyable for the player. One-hit kill mechanics. They're like when they grab you, it's over. You're the game over. That mechanic sucks.
I disagree with you. Resident Evil 4 chainsaw.
Okay, sure. I don't mind it once in a while. Like there are moments, but this one does not look like a fun one. And so again, the enemies don't look like fun. The only enemy that you really see prominently is the one that I don't want to see at all. And
well,
I also think the like I remember Samus Returns. You know, it feels good to play Samus, but I just don't think. One, I don't really love the counter move. I find that it was made the game way too easy. And I also noticed, if you watch carefully the videos, it looks like they really didn't put effort into the Samus animations. There's no walking animation. If you notice, Samus will not walk in the game. It's instantly to running, which makes it feel like this game's all about running fast and dodging things.
You're talking about Samus Returns.
No, I'm talking about this game. There's no walking animation in this game. You instantly start running. And it looks like it's very difficult to have kind of an accurate stop. So it looks like it's hard to get on those little like spots that you stand on. It looks like they're like doing this weird short run.
I didn't notice any of that.
Oh, that really bothered me. I was like, every other game there's an acceleration. You start slowly and you run faster, and then you get to like the hyperspeed or whatever. But this game, you're instantly sprinting, and I think they did that because they want you to be able to run from these robots quickly. But it just doesn't feel the way I want the Metroid game to feel. So am I going to get this game day one? Of course. Am I going to like this game? For sure. Because I like Samus Returns too. But is this game at all what I wanted Metroid to be, or a 2D Metroid to be, or the next one to be, or think it's anywhere near comparable to Metroid Fusion, Zero Mission, or Super Metroid? No.
Well, I think at the same time, I think right here you are also projecting what you want onto this too much. Because
yeah, but I could argue that against you too, all right? Like you're just fanboying because it's Metro. You think it looks way better than it is.
I also
let me add one more thing. And I think the environment, at least from what we've seen so far, looks really stale and boring. Again, that has to do with the graphics too. It just doesn't. Think of all the amazing things that you can see in Metroid, and this is what they showed us. It looked really low budget. Not low budget, but it didn't look like it. I just can't imagine a team of 3 people for Hollow Knight made a game that gorgeous, and then another team made Ori in the Blind Forest and Ori in the Will of the Wisps, and this is what we get for Metroid. It just doesn't. It looks like a lower tiered game for Nintendo. Not that it looks bad. It just looks like a lower tier.
Perhaps. I mean, it looks like it's more. I mean, I wouldn't say lower tier, like on the same level of something like as Kirby or Chibi Robo Ziplash.
No, yeah, I think it's kind of the in between of that.
What it doesn't. I mean, I bet if Retro Studios was doing it, the environments would look a lot better.
I agree. I think, and again, I'm not saying Mercury Steam's a bad developer, and I think, they're put in a place where this is their skill set, this is the capabilities that they have, and Nintendo's trusting them to do it. And I think, again, I will like the game. I will get it probably.
But it's not just Mercury's team. There's also the Metroid team from Nintendo who are also working on it. So I think it's going to reach a much higher quality level than you'll expect.
The game comes out in 5 months.
The game is finished.
It's finished, and what I saw today did not wow me.
Let me counter argue that
7.5.
Let me counter argue the graphics point, because I've watched a lot of it, and they got into a later environment on the second playthrough on the Treehouse, and the environments did get a lot more interesting, and it kind of has that chic minimalist design that Halo has, and I don't know, I like it. I still think it looks good. I know that it's not reaching the same level as something like Ori or something like a Metroid Prime. It's not completely beautiful, like entirely beautiful, but it's got its own unique look, and at some point, I feel like people are really too hard on these developers over graphics, and we almost need to embrace what they're doing and not what they're not doing. Because, we can sit here and say, oh, it's ugly compared to this or that, but I know that Metroid's not. It's being treated like a handheld budget game with plus, not a full
It looks
on.
like the game was made. It looks like the game was made in my mind as a 3DS game that then just got up-resed and changed to fit the Switch. It does not look like a Switch game.
Yeah, well, we also have to remember that we watched the stream. So did you? I haven't necessarily investigated on the other stuff, but I mean, I actually think it looks great. Like, because there's a lot of stuff they are doing that looks really cool. It's like I like the minimalist design, like with dark and smoke and kind of like a black and white feeling in certain areas. I actually really like that, and like it's kind of like a chic mechanical look, not so overgrown and destroyed like previous Metroids. And I also think like it's 60 frames a second, and it has this ability to. The cutscenes are kind of done like the God of War games, where like the camera just instantly zooms in on the screen and gets right in there and shows this environment, 3D environment. Like it's not like there's no weird cuts or anything. Looks very polished, like incredibly polished. Like all those watching the gameplay, like just from going from cutscene to, she slides down and gets grabbed and. I know, and you mentioned you mentioned the
better.
You mentioned the insta kill, Derek. You mentioned the insta kill, but there's a moment, kind of like Breath of the Wild, where the light flashes, where you can counter right there. So you can always just counter away from that final kill if you know how to do that. So that's just one part of the gameplay they showed. Because you mentioned the insta kill mechanic, so it didn't look that bad. Like they were running away from it. Like it doesn't look that hard. So I'm just and the other thing that really intrigues me is that you're like trapped on the bottom of a planet. And you're trying to get to the top to your ship to escape. They mentioned that multiple times in the treehouse. So it's like a different mechanic where like you're starting off in the deepest, darkest place with probably like the lamest enemies, whatever. And as you get to the top to escape, you're probably going to have to go and see space pirates and this and that and all these wild bosses. So, I mean, I really liked Samus Returns. I think this is going to be even better. I guess I'm just not thinking about what it's not. I think Metroid Prime 4 is still going to be the AAA, beastly... very detailed environment game, if you want, so to speak. But this is going to be a great, and also I love that it's called Metroid Dread. I love the like the art for it. I love like the promo art. I love the style of Samus's suit. I love like the name and concept. I love how it's kind of a horror take on it, and also how it's completed. Like it's been this rumor for how long, Metroid Dread, right? And now that it's actually, we know that the rumor was real. It's kind of just like it's like this Banjo-Kazooie in Smash Bros. Effect, where it's like, oh my god, it was real, and you actually have been working on it for 15 years, and you've tried. And he explains in the Treehouse how they tried multiple times. Like I love that. I love that. This whole thing is so Metroid happy for me. So Metroid happy.
Okay, well, again, like that is your bias, and I don't know. I think you. I mean this nicely, but you kind of look at all Nintendo games through a bit of a rose-tinted glass. Like I think you just. It doesn't look bad. I'm not criticizing this at all, but I think every time Nintendo shows any of their main 10 franchises, doesn't matter how it actually is. You think it looks amazing, and you can find always the things that look amazing to you, and you can always think it looks amazing.
But let me put it this way: a competent Metroid game that's an 8 out of 10 is amazing to me. That's a great success. You know what I mean?
To me, it looks like an 8 out of 10 too. I just can't believe how they couldn't pull this out to be like. There's so many things that they could have just added. Like that. And I again, part of it's my own personal feelings on what Metroid is. I don't like that chasing concept. I think it's not a concept to put into Metroid.
I think this is
the whole game.
Okay, well, also for one, you don't know it's the whole game, so let's maybe wait out and hold off. And second of all,
it looks like it's pretty core to the game.
And second of all, it is being presented as a horror game, so it is trying to take that alien isolation concept into Metroid. So take it or leave it. You know what I mean? That's like me saying I don't want to play that kind of game.
I mean, I'll even add one more thing. I'll say I don't mind it being that kind of horror dread kind of feeling. But if they did that, I think, one, they should have made the background in the game, the areas, darker and grittier and kind of more fear-inducing. And I think they also should have added those robots shouldn't have been robots, but something way more horrifying.
I like it. I like the bad robots.
I don't know. They look kind of like, kind of silly, futuristic robots, AI, where I know it can be scary too, but, when I think of Metroid Fusion, that game that does damn right fear-inducing when the clone was chasing you, because it looks just like you and it's hunting you down and it's stronger than you in every way. that was scary to me. But again, these robots don't do anything for me. This game, again, I'm getting it day one. I'm not trying to bash it because I think it's going to be a good game. I just think I went in with higher expectations for a 2D Metroid than this game was anywhere near.
And I also gotta keep in mind they definitely made compromises so this could be a 60 frames a second game on a regular Switch. And even for the enemies, I just the robots, like I think they kept those designs based on how they animate. So like their animation's pretty complex and cool.
Is Hollow Knight a 60 frame per second game?
But that's a completely different animation style.
But
you're comparing.
What about Will of the Wisps? What about Will of the Wisps?
But you are comparing different animation styles.
What about Doom Eternal?
Doom Eternal is not 60 frames.
Okay, that's right.
30.
But
so is the Rift. Sit down.
I was like, there's no way Doom Eternal. But I'm
but give me a break. You're comparing a 3D modeled game that has a dynamic camera, and like you're comparing that to something.
Ori has 3D models.
Yeah, it's not quite the same. It's not the same graphical style. It's not doing it this. Anyways,
if you don't think Will of the Wisps is doing everything better than this game, I don't know what to tell you. Like as far as graphically, if you think this game in any way is somehow more worthy graphically than Will of the Wisps, I just don't. It's like talking to a wall of Nintendo. Like
let me put it this way, okay? Let me put it this way. It's like if you ask me who do I want to develop in the next 2D Metroid, whether it's Mercury Steam or who developed
Moon
Studios or Team Cherry, I'm gonna say Moon Studios or Team Cherry, 100%. If you ask me who gets to develop the next 2D Metroid, Mercury Steam or those guys, 100% those guys, or one of them, Team Cherry or Moon Studios, 100%. But it's like if someone's in the movie and let's say a new actor's playing Batman, I'm not gonna be like, hey, you were pretty good, but like someone else would have been way better. It's like, so that's how I'm treating Metroid Dread and Mercury Steam. It's like, hey, I'm just gonna be happy about it. I'm not gonna pick apart the graphics for the whole next 4 months. Like,
I think you actually such a great analogy. I would say the Metroid games that I like are like the Dark Knight trilogy, and this looks like one of the Ben Affleck Batman movies.
Well, the Dark Knight trilogy is definitely Metroid Prime, right? Is if we're doing that comparison?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, sure, but I'm not talking about Metroid Prime right now. Okay. I'm just saying that Ben Affleck, they're fun movies to watch, fun Batman movies or whatever, but they're nowhere near the Dark Knight trilogy, right?
Slow down, because I'll take the Ben Affleck Batman movies over the third Dark Knight movie, Dark Knight Rises. Any day of the week. I'd watch Justice League again over Dark Knight Rises. But anyways, we're getting off topic here.
Yeah.
So Metroid Dread, we're both gonna buy. We're both gonna enjoy. We're definitely gonna talk about it. We're gonna podcast about it.
Again, I'm not bashing or hating it at all. I'm not saying this game is gonna be bad. I'm getting it day one. I'm gonna thoroughly enjoy it.
We're hoping for a little more.
I just think there is things left on the table that were like, how could you not, like, I think. If we lived in I think the best way to say it is we live in a world now post Hollow Knight, post Will of the Wisps, that you can't do worse than that now. You got to be at least nearing that level, and they didn't.
Oh, we don't know that. You're just talking about graphics. You're being a total graphics person right now.
Okay, well, total graphics, but I also think I think just looking at enemy variety and enemy placement, I think about gameplay mechanics. I think about linearness. I think it's not going to be. It's going to be like Samus Returns, and I think Samus Returns is nowhere near comparable.
I also just think we're living. Like, why are we in this space where every Metroidvania has to be hardcore compared to the best of the best? Like, obviously, Hollow Knight's an amazing game, but like, I don't need to compare. It doesn't have to beat Hollow Knight for me to enjoy it. It can still be a really good game.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to enjoy it, but I'm saying I thought it was going to be as like one of it's the 2D Metroid. It's going to be up there with these 2D. I thought it was going to be.
Okay, well, I'm not going to. I knowing that it was Mercury Steam. This is better than what I expected.
This is better than what I thought too. From Mercury
Steam. So is that like we're living in this weird world right now? Okay.
Yeah,
it's good, but it's also not. It could be better.
It's going to be very good. I just think it could have. I think in other hands, this could have been mind melting.
Okay, well, for me, I would actually go as far as saying right now, this was the absolute highlight of the entire Nintendo Direct for me. Oh, Metroid Dread. I can't wait for it. It's my most wanted game of the year. It's probably one of my most wanted games, period, right now. I love Metroid. I'm so happy they're making it, putting at least this much polish to make it a high-level AA game. maybe not AAA,
Yeah,
but a
okay.
very high level AA game. That's
I
why
agree.
I'm
I
very
agree
happy
with that.
about that.
I agree
Okay.
with that.
Okay, so let's move on to something even more exciting. Danganronpa is coming to Switch.
I honestly don't know anything about these games.
Me neither.
I think they're like, again, I only watched it briefly. It looks like almost like an Ace Attorney kind of game where it's like you find out who's the actual
Yeah, like a chat
who's the actual suspect.
text adventure kind of thing.
Yeah.
I honestly couldn't tell you either. But there's a whole bunch of them now. It's like the whole series is coming over, like all 3 games or something.
And they're popular for those that like them. I'm sure people are happy about it.
It doesn't look like my kind of game, so
Yeah.
yeah, not that exciting for me. Another exciting announcement that's not that exciting, but is interesting to talk about: Fatal Frame: Maiden of Blackwater. So it almost feels it's finally coming to Switch. It's a Wii U Fatal Frame game. Interestingly, it's actually coming to all the consoles. Nintendo published it initially, so everyone assumed it was going to be an exclusive to Switch. But I guess they're letting Tecmo Koei publish it on their own, even though doesn't Nintendo own the Fatal Frame license? So I'm going to be interested to read up on that later and how that worked. It sounds kind of like a Wonderful 101 situation, where Nintendo let Tecmo Koei just release it on other platforms for the sake of it. But yeah, I don't know. I think this just feels like the inevitable every single direct crossing a game off the Wii U chart list. So it's another red X on that chart.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy this. I don't really have that much interest. I heard this was one of the worst Fatal Frame games in the series.
Okay, I've never played a Fatal Frame, but I do like those kind of horror games. But if it's one of the worst ones, then I probably wouldn't start with this one.
I heard Fatal Frame 2 on the PS2 was very, very frightening. And also Fatal Frame, I believe, one of them was Japan only for Wii. They used the Wii remote aiming for camera. And apparently that was a really good one too. But anyways. Next announcement that was pretty exciting was Wario Ware Get It Together, coming out September 10th. This looks really good to me. The discounted price, not full price game, by the way. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it looks. I mean, it's kind of funny that we both in our predictions kind of talked about, will they have a WarioWare? What would it be like? And then we saw one. It looks cool. I like the co-op. I mean, it seems fun. I like WarioWare games. I'm not often the one to buy them. I'm often the one just to play them with friends. But if it's not a full price game, like you said, I think this is one that I potentially could pick up. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look bad or anything. It just looks more like WarioWare. I don't know how to really evaluate whether it's better or worse or improvements. It just looks like another good WarioWare game.
Yeah, I mean, I actually really thought the WarioWare game we'd get for Switch was going to be like a compilation like WarioWare Gold on 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
And this looks like I was kind of surprised by this because it actually looks really fun and interesting and kind of like almost like why didn't you do this already kind of idea. Like it actually is just it's so like right in front of your face idea that actually makes the whole concept interesting again and fresh. I love that you can play 2 players through the whole game. They showed a little bit of the treehouse, and it looks like there's a couple different modes that look fun, and all of it's 2-player co-op. And the different characters you choose from a character select screen actually all have different controls and advantages.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there's a little more depth to this one, and I actually just like the idea of finally actually being able to control all these characters. Like, I don't know, I like the idea of feeling like I'm 1-to-1 controlling Wario or 1-to-1 controlling one of those other characters, and they have like a whole boss thing in it, and I don't know, it actually looks pretty good. I kind of wish that this had WarioWare Gold with it, like it was WarioWare Gold, all the minigames we already know plus Get It Together.
Yeah,
because it's as a singular Get It Together game. Like, I mean, it's 200 mini games or more, I think, but still, that's eventually you're gonna go through all those.
How many are in gold?
There's got to be many hundreds of them because it's mixing so many WarioWare together. You could probably Google that, but I would guess a lot. But the other thing too is they always say over 200, but there'll be one that they'll kind of remix the same ones different ways.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many things you can do in 4 seconds.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. But at the same time, I want this. This looks great. I'm sure it's gonna have a great soundtrack and everything. It also kind of feels like, this also feels like if it didn't have the Wario license to it and this was an indie game, I wouldn't think twice about it, and if it was over $15, I wouldn't even think about it. You know what I mean? Like, do you ever?
Yeah.
So there's this weird thing where like you really realize how much the Wario Nintendo brand like raises that price of what otherwise is just like is a good talented indie studio.
Yeah. I'm just making mini games.
But I also this one looks like one of the most polished WarioWares too. Like just I mean watching the treehouse mostly, just like the way the UI looks and the way like the it goes into different you get the character select screen. It's just like the whole look of it's really nice. And maybe I'm selling WarioWare short because like every different mini game has its own artistic style. And even as crude as some of the styles are, like at least they're all unique. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is going to be a big success. And I think it's interesting that they announced Mario Party and WarioWare. Especially, they announced them in the opposite order they're coming out. They should have announced WarioWare first. But, like, they're both party games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, this...
I know, both coming in the same year, like same, a couple of months.
This WarioWare looks like it's only 2 players, though. It doesn't look like you can really play with more than that.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I never looked into that. I mean, I'm sure there might be even a 2 or 4 person or a 2v2 mode. I don't know. There might be more than we think.
Yeah, but I mean, it's definitely on my radar. I mean, I almost feel like I might come to the conclusion, like, this fall, like, to go Mario Party or WarioWare, kind of make that choice.
Yeah, I think I'd go Mario Party personally. But this is a game I definitely want to play. I just don't know if WarioWare is the game I'd want to buy.
Yeah, I don't know. WarioWare to me is a more fun, quick game to play with somebody. Like it's an easy game to bust your Switch out and play. Like, hey, let's play a quick 2-player.
I just couldn't. I'm not going to pass up the chance to play real online Mario Party.
Yeah, and going back to it, in Mario Party Superstars, can you play online with, like just by myself, with randoms?
I think that's what it said. Yeah, you can play with friends, but it also can find random people.
Okay,
I think
good.
that's what it said. Yeah,
because I don't have friends.
I'll have to watch it again, but I think it said, yeah, even if you have one friend, you can find other people online to play with. I think it
great.
said that.
Okay, great.
I think. Don't quote me, but.
And WarioWare does not have online.
Not that I know of.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely you know what WarioWare actually kind of reminds me of is Snipper Clips. Has that kind of vibe to me, and Snipper Clips
Okay, yeah.
I loved. So if it has that, if it scratches that itch, it might be one of the better WarioWares.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the next fairly exciting announcement was Shin Megami Tensei 5 is, like I predicted, coming in November and got a pretty big focus in the Direct and the Treehouse. This is the first Shin Megami Tensei game, I believe, to move from like kind of like sprite-based visuals to
I thought
now
they were
fully
sprite-based
3D.
I also didn't. Were they always turn-based or?
Yeah.
I thought they were okay because I always thought they were kind of like Fire Emblem, where they were tile strategy RPGs.
No, it's more like a Persona where you're like dungeon crawling with random battles, and the random battles will be these demons, but you could you used your own demons to fight back. But when you fought, it was just like a still image of the enemy would pop up. So it'd be like really good artwork was done for like Shin Megami Tensei 4 on 3DS. So people loved it, and it's a really good game. You know, great music, great story. So this is actually, I believe, like the big jump for them into like fully 3D Unreal Engine 4 graphics.
Okay.
So
yeah, it looked pretty good. I mean,
I'm really interested to like read after our podcast about like what the actual like fans of this franchise thought of this display and like what this.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah, I mean, watching the Treehouse, I thought it looked pretty good. Like I to be honest, like the environments and exploring them, like I loved the look of it.
Yeah, I thought it looked cool too. I'm not sure I don't like the gameplay style. Like, again, I think I mentioned before, I'm not a fan of the Persona games, and I don't like the monster kind of training battle system that it has going on. It just isn't really not my thing. But yeah, I think it looks really good, and I think the kind of the direction of.
Did you watch this trailer though? Or sorry, did you watch the Treehouse gameplay?
I didn't watch the Treehouse gameplay.
Because I gotta tell you, like, I'm not usually into that either. Like, I don't really like card-based games or any of that, like, kind of lame stuff. It's not like that at all. It's like you have two fighters that get into traditional battles on the battlefield, and then you can each have your own demon with you, one demon to fight. So you either, to get a demon, I think you either have to, like, fight them, or when you talk to them, you can actually get into dialogue with the enemies. So rather than fight enemies, you can get into dialogue, and how the dialogue goes can lead to a fight, can lead to them leaving, can lead to them joining you.
Well, that's kind of cool.
So it was really this kind of interesting dynamic built into the actual fighting, and it was tough because when they showed it at the treehouse, it was all still in Japanese. So this guy from the treehouse was like translating really quickly. But it just like it has a really cool, like really well done turn based design, and I really like that kind of like how they can join you, and then you fight with one, it'll die, and you'll need a new one, and it looks, it's done in a really smart, interesting way. Like I don't know, I think this is gonna be a big game. Like,
Oh, I'm sure it will be. I mean, I'll see how it. I'll see how reviews are for it, right? If it gets awesome reviews and people say it's super fun, one of the best JRPGs in a long time, sure, I'll grab it.
I honestly think this can review, and I'm giving away one of my scores. I think it's gonna review high 80s, low 90s.
Okay,
Easy. I think it's gonna be that big because it's a really big series. People love this series, and this looks really polished. But that's
Okay.
why. Anyways, it's gonna review well. That's my prediction.
Okay, we'll see.
Okay, after that, they showed another interesting surprise to me was the Advance Wars 1+2 reboot cam.
Yeah, I was surprised by that as well.
I know you're about to hate on the graphics because I saw people online whining about that.
I actually was not. I actually liked the graphics.
Okay, same here. Same here.
I was surprised that people didn't like it. I was like, well, it looks exactly what I expected Advance Wars to look like if turned into 3D.
Yeah, I really love like the way the map is on like a little board. I like how there's like
I thought that was cool too. Yeah.
the animated screens of people are actually well animated. Did you watch the gameplay on Treehouse?
I mean, I played one of the Advance Wars before, so yeah, I skimmed through it. I know what the game is.
I just mean watching the gameplay and watching the how they like it's all just exactly like the Game Boy Advance game. Like you can speed through the battles the same way. It's all
It's literally the same game.
I know it's a beautiful recreation is what I'm saying. I played Advance Wars, the first one.
Okay, me too.
I loved it. I played the first one and a little bit of Days of Ruin, but I really so Days of Ruin is not the second one. It's the DS one, but there's an Advance Wars 2. Did that come to North America?
I don't know. I played the first one on the Game Boy Advance, and that would be it.
Okay, because I can't remember. Like I thought Days of Ruin was the sequel, but I could be totally wrong. But anyways, I thought this was a really fun surprise, and I'm probably gonna get this. I don't know.
Oh yeah, this is one of the things I liked the most about the conference. Is this is probably gonna be a day one for me for sure.
Yeah, it looked great, and yeah, it was just like it kind of rounds out a very interesting like holiday lineup for the Switch, right? Between Wario Ware, Shin Megami Tensei, Advance Wars, if Super Monkey Ball, if 2D Metroid, it feels very handheld. It feels
I find it
like
exactly what I was gonna say. Very handheld, very kind of eclectic, and none of these big AAA console games, but a lot of like really good, fun kind. I don't want to say party games because they're not all party games, but these kind of more. I don't know how to describe to put Advance Wars in the group, like mini game esque, like I don't know, tabletop games. Like they're just the handheld games. I think you nailed it on the head. It's kind of these, yeah.
In traditional Nintendo where they had a handheld and a console, this would have been one of the handhelds good lineups. You know what I mean?
Agree.
But it just now that they've amalgamated the handheld and console, so it feels like we're getting all these like wicked handheld games. But I love it. I love that Advance Wars is coming back in such a clean, beautiful way.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the 3D graphics. I like how they put together.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know why people didn't like that.
Okay, so then we moved on to they did show like a couple other things that aren't as exciting that are on here. Like they had the Doom update, Doom Eternal update, which I was actually surprised because I didn't think it was actually going to come to Switch. Like I thought they were just going to release Doom Eternal on Switch and give up on it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was cool to see the update on Switch. I don't know. By the way, speaking of Doom Eternal, the update coming to I don't think it's coming to PS5. The next gen update coming to Xbox. They have like this ray tracing update. Yeah, they announced at E3 there's like a ray tracing update coming in the middle of June, and they show these before afters where like all the metal's like reflective. It looks sweet. So I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't come to other systems. I mean,
yeah,
they own that series.
I know. Yeah. Now, like the next Doom will literally be just for Xbox.
Yeah.
Sad. Okay. Anyways, we're digressing. Mario Golf. I thought they showed a little bit off, and they showed some off during the Treehouse as well. I'm still like on the fence about buying it, but it does look really good. I think it's going to review well around. We both guessed it would review around an 83 Metacritic, so I think it's going to go there or higher.
See, I'm actually the opposite. I don't know if the actual what was in the direct, but what was in the Treehouse actually convinced me that I'm more likely to get it.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, to me, it pushed me more likely, but still not off the fence. Like I still don't.
I'm not off the fence. The RPG or like the campaign looks cool.
Yeah, it does actually. Like you actually explore like the world. It looks really cool.
And I think it all looks fun. I think the fact that they said there's more courses coming, more characters coming too. But that also means like I might as well wait for there to be an overwhelming amount.
Yeah, and then but it won't. It won't be on sale.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, of course, it doesn't really matter. But I mean,
I like how New Dunk City was one of the places to golf.
I know that looked cool, but again, like I can always buy it used or something. But again, I don't know. I'm leaning towards this game sooner rather than later from what I saw on the at least during the Treehouse.
You know what? The thing that's disappointing about this game to me is it doesn't look like there's tournaments. Unless that's coming in an update and they haven't talked about it. Like,
I don't think they talked much about online. So,
but I watched the Treehouse and saw the menus, and I'm like, okay, it doesn't look like there's any space for that because it's either the story mode or it's classic golf or it's Star Rush golf.
What about online?
I'm pretty sure within those modes is online. Like you go into battle mode, then you go online. You go into Star Rush, you go online. You go into classics, you go online. So there wasn't really an area for any sort of tournament. And I'm really disappointed about that.
Yeah, I didn't. That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. Nothing about the actual mechanics seems that exciting to me. It kind of seems like the same old golf mechanics.
No, yeah, but I haven't played Mario Golf since the 64. Like I didn't get the one. I didn't get World Tour, and I didn't get the one on.
You didn't get it on Game Boy on 3DS World Tour?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that was one of the best ones.
I know, and I wish I did get it, but I didn't.
So being in 3D, honestly, I would say maybe don't buy it for Switch and buy it for 3DS still.
And play on what? You think I have a 3DS like anywhere near me?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the 3D was really good in it, and it had a lot of courses. It had a lot going. It had the tournament mode.
Yeah, so I almost wish they had ported that game to the Switch, but
I don't know. To me, I honestly think after today and looking at the lineup, it might have convinced me not to buy what's it called, Mario Golf, because I know I have to buy Metroid, Wario Ware. I might get Shin Megami Tensei. I might, Mario Party, Super Monkey Ball. Like, there's more advancements. Like, there's more games coming this year that I actually might buy than I expected to, which is actually surprising.
Oh, see, there's probably less for me. I have maybe 2, I would say.
Okay, I mean, No More Heroes is still kind of in my corner eye as well.
I have Metroid and then maybe Advance Wars.
Well, let's
and maybe Mario Party.
Let's get to the end of the list here. So there's a few more things that they showed. Well, one more really. They kind of said one more announcement. Remember, they said there's one more announcement here, and then they showed that it was the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity expansion. Did you remember that part?
Yeah.
And I was almost like, oh god, really? I was like, really? Is that the one more thing? Like, do you really think we're that excited about this update to this game that isn't even a new level? It's just a new weapon. And I think
I thought there were new levels added in this one.
I don't think the expansion is new levels. I think it's just
I
new missions in the same levels.
I paused on that that screen that said what was happening in each phase.
Okay. What did it say?
Let me see if I can find it again. You can keep talking. Talk for a minute. I gotta.
Okay. Well, anyways, that part kind of had me. I almost laughed and almost felt like a moment of disappointment. I'm like, really, you're gonna kind of not give one more little thing, and then Ayunova comes on, and then he says, okay, well, let me show you some stuff for Zelda. And I'm like, oh wow, okay, sweet. Then I honestly thought he was going to drop the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD, but he went back to Skyward Sword HD.
Yeah. Okay, so I got the page.
Okay.
So it says Wave 1, which comes this week. So there's new character, 2 new movesets for Link and Zelda, a new difficulty, new challenges in the Royal Ancient Lab. I don't know what that is. And then new added enemies. But then Wave 2 in November adds more stages, more characters, and more skills.
I don't know. I mean, I had never even beat this game. It's so long, so I'm probably not going to buy it.
I probably won't buy this either. I mean, maybe in like, basically to me, if I ever beat the entire game of Age of Calamity, then I would consider buying this. But I don't know if I'll ever be able to get to beating the actual game.
Yeah, same. I mean, unless the DLC was that awesome and you could play it right away. Like if it was just like you could play as a, I think can you play as one of the Guardians?
That's the DLC character.
Oh, that is the DLC character. I couldn't tell.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
It says the battle-tested Guardian.
That might be enough. That might be enough for me to buy it.
You can play as one of the little ones in the current game, like the hero, the little droid that follows you around.
Yeah, I know.
You can get him, but yeah, the big one is the DLC. That's what they showed.
Okay, well, yeah, I wasn't sure when they showed that if that was already in the game and they were just showing like another mission with it.
No, yeah, newly added playable character, battle-tested Guardian is what it says.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm going to buy that now. It's sold because I want to play as the Guardian. Okay.
Oh my god.
I want to take that frame rate even more. Why not? It's a great game. Okay, well, anyways, then A&O came out and he probably delivered what will be the most talked about and dissected thing in the whole entire Direct, which was the Game & Watch Zelda.
Yeah, I agree.
Did you knew I was going to do that? Yeah. Are you going to buy this?
No. Heck no.
You know what?
The fact that
almost I thought that third game was going to be A Link to the Past, and then I would have been leaning into yes.
Yeah, if it was Link to the Past, I would have too. But the other thing is, like, I have a Super Nintendo Mini. So, I have some of these games. I have the remakes of Link Awakening on the Switch. I don't really see a need to play this.
It's like a novelty item.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was...
I know, but I don't... It's like I would never carry this around in my pocket.
If I was a rich person, I would buy every single one of these and keep it on my shelf. Do you know what I mean? Like a real hardcore collector.
Mm-hmm.
But I just can't... I mean, the price of it for this, and just like... It's just going to end up sitting in your... Like, once you take it out of the box, it's cool for what? 10 minutes, and then you just wasted its resale value?
Yeah, I'd never play this after that.
And it just sits in a box, and then I don't really have the space for that. So,
but I think it's cool for some people that have never played some of these games, especially in my mind, Link's Awakening. This is a kind of affordable way to jump in and play some of these kind of cool older Zelda games.
Yeah, it's sort of the kind of game you give to like a 5 or 6 year old kid and say, hey,
exactly,
play with this, keep it in your toy chest, type of thing. But don't scratch it because I need to resell it for your college. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I actually thought that was going to be the end of the Direct, and I was like, oh, wow, what a lame way to finish it. Give us some Breath of the Wild. Give us some, remasters of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
I can't believe you thought that we were going to see Age of Calamity, then Skyward Sword, then this, and we see him speaking, and you don't think, oh, they're not going to show anything of Breath of the Wild 2. Of course they're going to show something.
I thought he was going to say something like, you'll see it later, delays.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He probably could have done that, too.
But then they showed this trailer for it, and it was a hype trailer. It looks awesome. It didn't show quite as much depth as I thought. I thought it was going to be like kind of like the reveal trailer at E3 2016, where it was like, really showed the mechanics and gameplay. It kind of was a little more story, hinting at things type of trailer. But every shot for sure is going to be dissected. I can't wait to watch those dissections tonight. Well, what do you think, Derek?
Yeah, so I've already watched it about 4 or 5 times. I've actually gone through almost frame by frame and kind of paused on every single little clip.
Okay, so you know more than I do then. I've only watched about 2 times.
Yeah, so some cool things that I noticed. One thing, it looks like there's a flamethrower weapon or a flamethrower ability that Link gets. He has a flamethrower on his hand for one part of it, which is cool.
Yep.
He has an ability that almost looks like it reverses time, which I think there's going to be a lot of really awesome puzzles that have to do with reversing time.
Oh, with the boulder coming down? I
never
even thought about
and he
that.
paused and then it goes back up the hill. Yeah, I think it's reversing time. So I think it looks really cool. And what else? I think the fact that there's a whole bunch of sky area looks cool. I don't know how much in the sky there will actually be, whether it's just a couple dungeons or a couple of raised platforms, or it's like a whole second world. Because from what I saw, there's parts where there's a few raised platforms. They don't look that big, and then a lot of the other parts of the game, there's nothing in the sky.
Well,
so
there's that one clip I know where he's in the field and it shows the 3 Bobkins on top of the rock dude.
Yeah.
Well, I can't remember his name right now. There's nothing in the sky.
Exactly. So I don't know if it's like there's actually going to be a lot more in the sky, or they haven't put it in yet, or only certain areas. So,
but then in the sky shots, you can clearly see that Link, like, it's above that one spot. Remember with I can't remember the name of the spot right now, but there's one spot where they've looked down, like they look down and see the ground from one of the places Link is, and they've identified that as somewhere in Hyrule.
Yeah, and again, like he specifically mentioned as this being kind of the feature to this game. You know, he's like, we added the verticality to this game. We added the sky to Breath of the Wild, basically. So I can't imagine him saying that as kind of like the selling point to show today, and not having it be more than what I saw today. So I expect it to be a fair amount of kind of these sky areas.
But maybe over the course of the game, it goes from no sky areas to more sky areas. Like it progresses. So maybe the world changes as you play.
Breaking off and like kind of splitting into.
Yeah, and that would describe why there's those different scenes with different amounts of stuff in the sky. And like the very first shot looked like he was falling from even above the things in the sky. Like.
Yeah, that was cool too. I don't know if that's like the start of the game or something. I like that too. Or maybe it's the warp system. You fall instead of just landing at a tower, you fall from the sky.
Yeah. Do you think Loftwings will make an appearance?
I don't think Loftwings will make an appearance.
Really? Maybe in the DLC.
I don't think so at all. Loftwings are an ancient creature, and if you follow lore, Breath of the Wild is not at the same time as Skyward Sword at all.
Yeah, but they could break that for the sake of the gameplay of being in the sky and having a Loftwing, like it, you know.
Maybe I don't think so.
You don't think so? I think a lot of people are going to be talking and then wondering about that. That's why, like, you can shrug it off, but I bet you it's going to be a topic of discussion for well over 12 months. You know?
I don't think so. I think, yeah, I don't think it's going to be flying the way we think it's going to be flying.
Okay.
And they had another mechanic which I didn't quite understand. It looked like he was floating. He like almost went through a building like liquid.
Yeah, people are speculating that was Zelda during that clip, not Link.
Oh, really?
Because the hair's longer.
I was gonna say, well, the hair's longer on Link is what I was gonna. The last point I was gonna make is the hair is quite longer on Link.
Is it Link?
Well, I mean, there's many scenes that look like it's Link, and its hair is longer. He has So, again, I think I'm gonna watch some of these dissections, and people know a lot more about the lore and the art, and they can see things that I don't. But I'm super stoked for this.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to make the 2022 calendar year? That's my real question.
It's either going to be a holiday 2022 or March 2023.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think it'll either be tail end or won't make 2022 at all.
I mean, I can potentially see a big blowout happening this fall, like in October, for it to be released in May. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't see that.
But usually, I don't know. I really am curious how they're going to kind of lead up this thing from like showing off the gameplay to release. Because with Breath of the Wild, they really had that blowout at that E3, and then afterwards they demoed that same demo all the way to the release. And then they released it like about a little less than a year later.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, some people could read into it that means that this is now going to release next year, like March. But I still don't think so.
I don't think they've shown enough to say like to make me feel comfortable to come out early 2022. But I mean, we're only halfway through 2021, so another 6 months, maybe we will see a release date and saying it's coming out, April or March or May or something.
Something tells me that we're not going to see Breath of the Wild 2 until next E3, and we're still going to be calling it Breath of the Wild 2 until next E3.
And it's going to be the blowout event.
And it's going to be the big blowout game of next E3 and come out next holiday.
Yeah, I could see that too.
And at this rate, we're getting Pokemon Legends Arceus early next year. We might get Splatoon 2 in the spring. Maybe we'll be lucky.
Splatoon 3.
Splatoon 3, sorry. And maybe we'll be lucky to get, Xenoblade Chronicles X port or something in there. Like,
Yeah, maybe F-Zero and Pikmin 4. And...
Well, no, I didn't mean a new Xenoblade. I mean a port of remaster of the Wii U version.
I'm just joking as if it's a pipe dream. I don't think that game is ever coming.
Oh, I do. Eventually.
Oh, I don't.
It's you don't think after all that huge giant world they built and all of, like, how the huge game they made, they're not just going to leave it on the Wii U?
We'll see. I don't know.
Anyways, okay, so there was one more thing that I wanted to bring up. I made a note here that they had at E3, and that was they showed Monster Hunter Stories 2 a lot. And I thought this, they haven't really shown gameplay of this. This is a sequel to a 3DS game that kind of came out really late in the life cycle, kind of passed me by. I know probably you didn't play it either. But it's kind of like a big open... It's kind of like a Zelda meets turn-based RPG meets Monster Hunter. But I watched the gameplay for this on the Treehouse, and it practically sold me on the game. It looks really good.
Yeah, it looks good. I saw the gameplay too. I agree with you. It looks quite good. For me, though, there's so many JRPGs, and there's such a time sink that I'm really, really specific about which ones I play. So it's not anything against it. I just probably would never be able to have the time to play this one. So
I just wonder if this one is as much of a time sink as some of those other more hardcore ones. Like, knowing Monster Hunter's this is kind of a more family-friendly approach to Monster Hunter, I think it might be a little easier and shorter than something like Shin Megami Tensei 5 or Persona. I think it might be a simpler... I'll look into that.
It might be shorter, like, because I don't think Monster Hunter Rise is that long, and that's a story-based game too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it being a 30-hour game, but yeah, I don't love playing that many JRPGs anyways. I just find them a little bit the same and a little bit they get a little redundant and a little long.
Yeah.
So when I play a JRPG, it's when I'm in the mood and when one really strikes me. So I just don't think this is gonna be the one that is for me. Though I think it looks... I agree. I watched Treehouse. It looks really good.
Yeah, there's two things that really struck me about this game was like during the fighting. Like, it's an interesting mechanic where you're on a team of 4 people, but you don't actually get to know... Like, you don't choose anyone but yourself for a move.
Yeah, but you got to see it what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, and I thought that was really cool. And you can later on, as like you bond with your monster, you can kind of like syndicate your moves. But also, I just like when you actually fight, like the actual like attack animation is awesome. And like when you actually like jump on your, it's like Pokemon times a million. Like, you know what I mean? Like the camera zooms in, and like there's these wicked moves and explosions, and they're so over the top, and that really, really sold me. Like, I'm like, whoa, this looks really awesome. Like, really, really well done turn-based gameplay.
See, I think that looks really cool, but I just, from all the turn-based games I've played, Pokemon actually has that right, where you don't want to have flashy moves in a turn-based game. You want the moves to be as quick as possible, because you don't want to see the same animation 184 times throughout your gameplay, especially if they're 8 seconds each. It's just a waste of time.
Looks good for a demo, though.
It's good for a demo, and it's good for once or twice, but I don't want to have to, every time I use the move, press start to skip it, or just have to watch 8 seconds of a move. So I think it's too... I think it's too much, to be honest.
Fair. Well, you know what? I mean, I don't know if I'll get Monster Hunter Stories 2, but I just think it looks like a really polished, high-quality RPG. I think it's going to get good reviews, sell pretty well, and it's something to keep in mind when we're thinking about like how the lineup of this year is unfolded for Switch.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Switch has actually a pretty good lineup now. Again, I think like you predicted on last week, I think it has a very solid lineup, tons of games, none of those huge heavy hitters, but all really, really, really solid games, and something for everyone.
Yeah, and even considering, Mario versus Rabbids being shown off, Nintendo really did keep it close to the belt this year. Like, they really only showed Breath of the Wild 2. Everything else is coming this year.
Yeah, and they had a solid showing. It's not like people again walked away feeling like there's something for them. I'm sure.
Okay, so for me, I don't know. I'm still got to take it all in. I still got to look at some of the press media and everything, and really kind of look at some of this stuff, because there's always a few games that sneak between the cracks in these things. But I don't know. Out of 10, I gotta say I'm probably leaning on a pretty solid 8.5.
Okay, yeah, I'm about an 8, so
I almost want to lean on a 9, but I think you took me off my Metroid hype wagon a little bit.
But it still looks great.
It's like here's the thing. Like, it's a very solid lineup of games. I'm really excited about all of them, but none of them really get me to that Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Smash Bros type of, oh my god, I really want this game point.
I agree.
Then again, that's something that is easier said than done. It's not... Most games don't do that for me anymore. I mean, I feel a little bit that way about Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Infinite. Like, they could get that exciting for me, but To me, the only game that really gets from Nintendo that only really gets me there to that level of excitement is Metroid Dread. Like, that's the only game I'm truly like. I don't need WarioWare in my life. I don't need Super Mario Party Superstars or Monkey Ball or really Advance Wars. Like, those look great. Glad those games are being made. Like, I'm excited for all those, but Metroid's probably the only one that I really, really want to play day one, and I'm really excited about. But overall, I can see why a lot of people see Metroid as double A, mid tier, kind of like. But I think it's also going to surprise you.
I mean, I'm gonna get Metroid's just like you. It's the one game I'm definitely getting, and I want to be surprised if it's better than I thought. That'd be awesome. And I agree with you. Every other game looks great, but really the only one I'm walking away from saying this is a day one, despite all of my criticism earlier in the podcast, is Metroid, because it's Metroid, and I love that franchise.
Yeah.
But I feel the same way about it as I did the other games where, I think it's great. I probably wouldn't get it if it wasn't Metroid.
Yeah, probably not. Depends.
Yeah.
It really depends. Because some of the stuff they're doing with the camera in that game does look pretty more than an indie game. Let's say.
Yeah, it looks cool. But I'm hoping for Hollow Knight Silk Song to come out, and then that will be my holiday.
Yeah, that was a no-show. Like I think Advance Wars 1 and 2 is another day one for me. Like that and Metroid Dread are probably my day ones.
Yeah, that's funny because those are actually the two that I was thinking about too, and maybe Super Mario Party. Or Party Superstars.
Yeah, that or Wario or my kind of maybes, and Monkey Ball.
Yeah, Monkey Ball, and maybe Mario Golf.
Yeah, but I mean, exactly, and maybe this, and maybe that, and maybe No More Heroes 3, and maybe
Shin Megami Tensei.
That was an interesting no-show. Was No More Heroes 3 because like it's coming out in August. I thought they'd really want to spotlight it in this show. Like I almost did they show it at all? Or am I crazy?
I didn't see it at all. No, yeah,
they
not even on like a highlight reel or anything.
Which is weird because they showed it at the last Nintendo Direct, but and that game's like in its marketing segments right now. Like they're releasing different marketing for it, and
well, I could see us getting another Direct maybe a week before it comes out, saying don't forget all these holiday games. We're going to see more of, WarioWare, more of Metroid, and then it'll show this game comes out next week.
Do you think there'll be a Direct in the summer? I don't think we'll see one until the fall.
Well, when does No More Heroes come out? August,
like late August.
Yeah, I could see it being a week before, maybe.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, that's a big release. Like, that could be a high reviewing, high selling, exclusive.
The other thing is, it could be the opposite, is that they're not showing it because they don't think it looks very good.
Yeah, or maybe they think it's too violent, or maybe they have other plans. I don't know.
I don't know. The opening sequence of Smash Bros. Was pretty violent. I
agree. Especially after what we talked about when I was like, they're not going to start off that violent. Smash Bros. Is progressively getting more and more violent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this year overall is almost as good of a year as 2019 as far as exclusives for Switch. Like, even though, it might not feel like there's that big game, like same as 2019. Like, what was the big game? Astral Chain and Luigi's Mansion. Like, we are still living in that kind of like B+ tier of good games, but a lot of them. But I guess my feeling a little bit is that after 2020, we definitely didn't get any big games. I mean, some might consider Animal Crossing a big AAA game. I don't. Even though it is, but it isn't. It's not a big 3D single player.
It's a huge seller, but it's not like a first player, one player narrative kind of game.
Yeah, or even just a big meaty single player game like Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey or Xenoblade. It seems like Nintendo hasn't really given us a single game like that, other than, remakes and re-releases and Xenoblade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess Definitive Editions.
Yeah, it's interesting too because, there are still all of these rumors floating around of Donkey Kong, for example, and if that is real, I hope 2022 is going to have a really awesome lineup for the Switch. Not that this lineup is bad at all. But it seems like these are like the good to great games, and there's a lot of great to amazing games that seem to be in the works. There is Metroid Prime 4 coming eventually. There is Bayonetta 3 probably dead, but coming eventually.
Well, I was going to talk about that specifically. Okay, I was going to get into the no-shows here.
Okay, I didn't know that. But yeah, so there are... And there's Donkey Kong, and then there's
okay. So do you really think? Okay, what's crazy? So I was getting really psyched out right before the Direct started, and I was like, oh my god, maybe they will announce Pikmin 4. They showed Pikmin 3 last year. Like, who knows? Maybe they have it ready, and it was Pikmin 3 was just lining us up for Pikmin 4. No, nothing.
Yeah, I mean, and some guys I read, he said there should be a Fire Emblem. I thought there was gonna be a Fire Emblem because the guy said this is I didn't know this. This is the longest they've gone, or will be the longest they've gone without having released another Fire Emblem. So Fire Emblem's come out. The longest it's ever been is 3 years, and we've already passed 2 years.
No, they released that one last December. The re-release in English.
But I mean a new Fire Emblem.
Well, they had never released it in North America in English, so that counts.
Yeah, I don't think. Oh my god!
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean, I think doesn't Intelligent Systems make Wario Ware? Like, isn't that probably why they had to get that game ready for E3?
Are they the ones making that game?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, they haven't confirmed developers on a lot of these games. Like, we know Metroid Dread, but
okay, yeah, I don't know. I just mean
but
there are a lot of franchises, that and a lot of rumors of games that we haven't seen yet or haven't seen in a while. So, I mean, we always, again, this is the kind of the joke. We always talk about these things are coming, they're coming, and we just never see them. But, you know, again, Metroid Prime 4, Bayonetta 3, Breath of the Wild 2, Pikmin 4, Donkey Kong game. That's a disgusting lineup. Even if that's in the next 2 years, that's going to be some sweet games coming out.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So I'm excited for this next 6 months. I think it's going to be solid. But I think the face melters are coming soon.
Yeah, I agree. But, you know, it's the year still. I mean, you're looking at an exclusive lineup here. I'm just going to have it typed out in front of me. We've got No More Heroes 3, Shin Megami Tensei 5, Mario Party, Advance Wars, WarioWare, Metroid, and we've got Monster Hunter Stories 2, and it's Skyward Sword, and Mario Golf. So, like, those are the rest. That's our exclusive lineup for the rest of the year right now. That, to me, looks pretty dang good.
Yeah, I agree. It looks awesome.
It's really, really well-rounded exclusive lineup.
But I think it's a large quantity of great games and not a small quantity of phenomenal games like we've seen before.
Yeah, totally. But kind of feeds
and
still.
Like, you forgot Pokemon as well.
And I did forget Pokemon. So yeah, if you really consider that the 2 remakes of Pokemon in there, it actually is a really strong lineup. And it honestly, like I really like this vibe of it feeling like it's a really powerful handheld. Like, I'm playing now a Game Boy Advance in the future. Like, it has a little bit of that vibe to me, and
yeah,
I love that. I just love that. So I think that's a pretty strong lineup. I still think, by the way, there's a chance. Like, remember my original prediction that they wouldn't announce the Wind Waker HD or Twilight Princess HD, which clearly a no-show.
Did he not officially say that there are nothing else for the 30th anniversary or 35th anniversary? Pretty sure he specifically said that.
They're gonna release those games eventually.
They gotta get all the Wii U games off that system.
I can see them not coming this year at all. You're right, but maybe next year we'll get one of them at some point,
yeah.
Or both of them. Who knows? They're drip feeding these remasters. Jeez, it's like we waited 3-4 years for some of them. It's ridiculous. Another note. So back to Donkey Kong. You think Donkey Kong is a real game? Like, you believe those rumors?
I think it's time for another Donkey Kong, and I think there are teams available to do it well, and I wouldn't be surprised if one of them is working on it. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah. I do. I can. There was a point where I thought that they were going to announce that Donkey Kong for that November slot. There's a lot of complaints I've seen online. Like, have you really sussed out the feelings online of how people thought Nintendo did? I can't really gauge.
I haven't really. I think there's kind of like a pocket of people that love each of those games, but I don't think anyone saw the whole thing and was blown away. Like, there are people that love Advance Wars. There are people that love Monkey Ball. Like, I've gone to all of those threads, and there are people that saying day one, just what I wanted for all of those games.
Yeah.
Shin Megami Tensei,
yeah.
Advance Wars, even WarioWare. But I don't think anyone's looking at all of it and saying this is unbelievable.
Yeah, so some complaints I've read online was that Nintendo doesn't really have their one juggernaut powerhouse holiday game.
So yeah, I mean, we can talk about those. Remember how we talked about the sales predictions that Nintendo had?
250 million software.
It's funny because they have the quantity of games to actually hit that, but it just depends whether those games will sell at the level they want them to, because they aren't those juggernauts.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this list...
you think about Mario Party. Mario Party will hit 10 million. I mean,
Mario Party will hit 10 million. Mario Golf could hit 10 million. WarioWare could hit 3. Metroid will hit 2. Pokemon will hit 10 or 15. Advance Wars will hit 2. You know, if they're publishing Shin Megami Tensei 5, that could hit 2. And then you have all the backlog of games. You have Animal Crossing selling another 6. Mario Party selling another 10. Or sorry, Mario Kart selling another 10. Mario Tennis selling another 500,000.
Yeah.
You know, so plus Pokemon Arceus, right? That's going to be another 10 in January, and maybe Splatoon 3 is ready for March. Like the Nintendo usually has something in March to round out their fiscal year.
Yeah, exactly. So again, there's no clear juggernaut in the next 6 months.
Yeah, there's no game every year it does feel like they have one obvious juggernaut.
But last year there wasn't one either, really.
Well, last year was almost Mario All-Stars. And Hyrule Warriors in a weird way, because they were both like the big Mario Zelda, and like COVID was really ravishing last year, right? This year clearly, like I even think this year's been hurt by COVID, but I feel like a lot of the games from this year probably I think were originally planned for last year. Like Metroid, people think Metroid might already be finished, like 100%.
Prime?
No, Metroid Dread, because it just demoed really well. It all seemed really polished. They have
it was ready. It was ready last year or now?
It's like already completed. The game's 100% complete.
You just told me earlier in this podcast that it was 100% done. You said it was confirmed. It's completely done.
No, not confirmed. Not Dread. I mean, it's close to it. Think of it. If it's coming out in October, it's nearly done. But it's like
I know, but that's what I was saying. I said it's almost done. You said no. It is done. It's 100%
let's put it this way. It's done in the sense that Mario Odyssey was done when people said Mario Odyssey was finished when Switch came out. Like they can obviously go back and change things based on playtesting and this and that. But like from what the rumor said, one of the rumors said that the team that was working on it had already finished the game and were on the next project. So, and also people speculating just from the demo looking so far along and well polished that the game might be completely finished. So it might. I'm just speculating here that the game may have been planned initially as a fall 2021 or 2020 game, and just slipped because of COVID. You never know. You never know what the plans were.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's supposed to be with COVID, right?
But I mean, I think Breath of the Wild 2 they weren't expecting to go this long.
Yeah, I don't either. I think they were probably targeting this holiday.
I mean, at this point, I can actually see it not coming in 2022 at all. You're right.
I just don't. I don't think they showed enough, and I don't. He specifically used the wording. At least the translation said, "We're targeting or we're aiming for something like that. We're targeting 2022." He didn't say it's coming 2022. It says we're aiming to get it out for 2022. Like he used it. There was a specific word I paid attention to.
Are you sure that's not just the translator?
Well, I mean, it could be, but I mean, I have to trust the translator as saying what he's supposed to be saying.
True. We're aiming for next year. Yeah, I think I remember what you're talking about. You didn't say it'll for sure be next year, or it's like it's coming next year. He doesn't mean like we're aiming for a 2022 release. Like, but I don't know if that's a the translation makes it different. I'm quite surprised that they didn't put a title on Breath of the Wild 2.
I know, I agree. Like, it's getting kind of... Almost it is Breath of the Wild 2, but it's annoying to have to say Breath of the Wild 2.
I really, really hope it's not Breath of the Wild 2.
Me too.
I think that'd be a really stupid name.
I hope it's like Skies of Adventure or something.
No, I'd rather call it Breath of the Wild 2 instead of that. Just call it Super Breath of the Wild 2.
Okay, so yeah, I just found the part of the video. He says, we'd like to ask you to wait a bit longer. We're aiming for a 2022 release. So I hope you look forward.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be show off at E3 coming November. Donkey Kong
or 2023.
The other no-show from that a lot of people predicted was a new Kirby game. Because HAL's been working on something since Kirby Star Allies and those little free-to-play fighter Kirby games they release. So people really are... I mean, I guessed a 3D Kirby, and a lot of other people did too. So
they might be... It just might... Again, it might not be the time to release it. Think of... there is a lot of games coming out in the next 6 months. They don't need to put more games out right now, and they don't want to show their hand until those games come out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a next year game.
The only games that were shown for 2022 were Breath of the Wild 2 and
Mario and Rabbids.
Mario and Rabbids. So, I mean, it makes sense to, when January hits, say, here's our next 6 months of lineup, and then there's a Kirby game coming in April. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no point of showing it or releasing it right now when there's already a gross amount of stuff lined up of the same kind of level of, hype as Kirby.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I also think that if there is a Kirby coming out, they'll probably show it off in the fall. Like, they didn't, no need to show it off at the E3. Mm-hmm. The other thing I think they're going to have ready next year was the Resident Evil game, Outrage, that was, like, leaked. I was surprised that was an absolute no-show on Capcom and Nintendo's front. Like, even just a teaser trailer could have worked. But I think that could be something they show off later in the year or the summer even, and still have released maybe in that March slot next year. Because Capcom seems to be very comfortable with Resident Evil and Monster Hunter games now filling that March to May spot. Mm-hmm. They've seemed to kind of they've gotten away from the holiday spot, it seems, which has been really good for them. And I think they're going to do the same thing with the Switch Resident Evil. So I can see that coming next Q1, Q2 space as well. That's definitely on the way.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know enough about the rumors about this game, so I don't know if it's even coming at all. But I don't know. I'd be surprised. I'm surprised that it wasn't shown at either Capcom or the Switch E3, unless you're right. Like, it's coming later and they're holding on to show it. But again, you know more about these rumors than I do.
Yeah, that's all I live for them. I have little Post-it notes all over my wall.
Yeah, with red twine linking them all.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. I feel like we've kind of covered it all.
I think to exhaustion.
It feels weird right now that E3, it's like, oh, there's not like something tomorrow, and there's not something the next day, and there's no potential.
There's Bandai Namco that just happened. I'm kind of scrolling through it right now.
Anything? Anything good?
I mean, I just started it. The first thing is Dragon Ball Z.
Okay. Well, anyways, I guess we'll chat our regular Thursday in the next, bi-weekly Thursday.
Yeah.
So for our listeners, if you got through that, thanks for sitting with us and trudging through all of Nintendo's announcements today. And I guess in the end, I'm going to say I'm an 8.5, and Derek, you were a 8?
I'd say an 8, 8.1 to 7.9. Can kind of it fluctuates on what I see.
We're going to the
Dread.
0.1 scale now. Okay, well,
it'd be an 8.
I would then, if we're going to go to the 0.1 scale, I'm going to say I'm an 8.6, solid 8.6.
Okay.
8.654.
Oh my god.
9, 3. Okay, anyways, solid lineup this year. I think Nintendo's going to kill it this year. I think they're actually going to reach all those software goals, even with only what we've known about now.
I agree.
And sorry, I'm just coughing at the end here. And if you're still listening, thank God that you're still here. But leave us a comment or question, and we'll cover it next week. We'll get into a topic about it. Derek, thanks for everything.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me as a permanent guest on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for being the perfect guest and going through E3 with me. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. I guess this is Peter signing out.
And this is Derek. See you later.